Perimus grunted, still suspicious. I wouldn't open it. Your husband is right, Aphrodite nodded earnestly. No, Pandora, the jar is just for looking at. Never open it. You would not want to know what's inside. After Aphrodite left, Pandora burned with curiosity. It wasn't her fault. She was created to be curious. All she could think about was opening that jar. Pandora managed to hold out for several days, but one morning when her husband was out in the garden, she sat in front of the jar and stared at it, trying to imagine what was inside. Why would the gods send her a present and then tell her never to open it? That was just wrong. I have to see what's inside, she muttered. Oh, this is going to be awesome. She pulled the cork. It was not awesome. Zeus had packed the jar with a gazillion evil spirits. They spewed out and spread across the world, bringing misery, sickness, athlete's foot, famine, bad breath, and death to the human race. Suddenly, being a human was now 1,000 times worse than it was before, and it had never been easy. Humans probably would have killed it all off in despair, running off cliffs like crazy Athenian princesses. But one good spirit remained in the jar, maybe because Zeus had some shame. Elpis, the spirit of hope, stayed with the humans so they wouldn't give up completely. They could always believe that things might get better. If you've ever wondered why humans suffer so much, it's because of that stupid jar. At which point we're supposed to say, "Way to go, Pandora, thanks a lot." Back in the old days, the writers, who were all guys, would say, "See, this is a story that shows you that all women are troublemakers. It's their fault." Perimus and Pandora, Adam and Eve. The blame game has always been on for a long time. I'm not sure why we're criticizing Pandora for being nosy, or not following orders or whatever. She was made to open that jar by the gods. My real question, what was Aphrodite thinking? If she knew this whole Pandora thing would give women a bad rep for eternity, why did she go along with it? Me, I think she just didn't care about the consequences. She wanted to make Pandora beautiful. She wanted to prove that love could succeed where the other gods had failed, even if it caused a global disaster. Way to go, Aphrodite. Thanks a lot. To be fair, her creations didn't always turn out bad. Once Aphrodite took pity on this sculptor named Pygmalion, who lived on Cyprus, her favorite island. This dude was not interested in the local women, because they all seemed crude and rude to him. They'd go out with anybody who had money and a nice chariot. They didn't believe in true love. In fact, a lot of them didn't believe Aphrodite existed, and that made Pygmalion angry. He was proud of his hometown goddess, even though he hadn't found his one true pairing yet, OTP. He definitely believed there was someone perfect out there for him. In his spare time, Pygmalion carved a life-size ivory statue of Aphrodite, because she was his ideal of what a woman should be. He made the statue so beautiful that it brought tears to his eyes. As far as Pygmalion was concerned, all other women looked ugly by comparison. Oh, why can't I find a woman like this, he thought to himself. She would be kind and gentle and loving and wonderful, just like Aphrodite. I guess he didn't know Aphrodite's true personality very well. When the first local feast of Aphrodite rolled around, Pygmalion went to the goddess's temple and offered a big sacrifice of roses and pearls, and probably some lettuce too. He was too ashamed to admit that his real wish was that he wanted to marry his ivory girl. But he knew that was so stupid. You can't marry a statue. Instead, he prayed, "Oh, Aphrodite, let me find a woman as wonderful as you, as beautiful as the ivory statue in my workshop." Up on Mount Olympus, Aphrodite heard his prayer. She heaved a big sigh. "Oh, that is so cute." When Pygmalion got home, he stared at his ivory statue for a long time. Gradually, he developed an uncontrollable urge to kiss her. "That's foolish," he chided himself. "It's just a statue." But he couldn't help it. He made sure no one was looking, then stepped up to the ivory girl and planted a big kiss right on her mouth. To his surprise, her lips were warm. He kissed her again, and when he stepped back, his ivory girl was no longer ivory. She was a living, breathing woman so beautiful it made Pygmalion's heart ache. "I love you," she said. After Pygmalion came back to consciousness, he proposed to his perfect woman. They got married, had a few kids, and lived happily ever after. The weird thing, though, the stories don't even tell us what the ivory girl's name was. Probably Aphrodite would say, "Oh, that doesn't matter. She looked like me. That's all you need to know." Right.